who was coaching her? She was moving all over the place. I mean, it was very, very hard to watch her, like actually physically watch her. And the substance of the speech, not a single mention of inflation, not a single mention. I mean, the border, it was so poor. Not a single mention of violent crime, not a single mention of violent crime. And she keeps on going back to when I was a prosecutor. When she was a prosecutor, she let violent offenders off. She tailored laws for illegals. That was her approach. She tailored them specifically for illegals while they were here. Jack.
Trump has a really good post right now where he's saying that if she wanted to, she could leave this speech right now, go to Washington, D.C., announce that the border is going to be closed, announce that fracking will be allowed in Pennsylvania, and all of these things that she's complaining about. She could just go to D.C. and do this right now, and it would probably help her out really well with her standing. But she won't. And I think he's previewing the way that he's going to be going after her and, you know, really just sticking it to her on these very basic questions. If you say you want these things, why not do them? And I thought the presentation was sloppy. I keep going back to that very sloppy presentation. This did not seem like something that was polished. I just compare and contrast her with Maya Harris, her sister, who went up there, who gave a speech that was high energy. It was bright. It sounded energetic. It was so much better than her speech. It was just on optics better. But of course, the media and people are saying that, you know, the media is just, no, Jake Tapper is going all in on this. He's like in love with it. And the media is, this is what we're going to have, Charlie. This is what we're going to have, is that the media is going to do everything they can to gaslight people about how wonderful and amazing her speech was.
Yeah, I just want to, I want to read
CNN
off some of these.
Given her, yeah, go ahead, Blake.
Yeah, just I'll repeat what Andrew's been sending us. He says, amazing speech, powerful. They have to go back to 2008 to remember a speech like this. Back to 2008, she was better than Obama in 2012, better than Hillary, better than everyone else at this convention, just crushed it. What in the world? Now, I'm relaying this secondhand, so maybe Andrew is like somewhat exaggerating what they're saying, but I see no reason to think he is. The speech was infused with patriotism from beginning to end. The rhetoric was muscular. It was a great speech. She met the moment. That was from David Axelrod. David Axelrod thought this was a winner. I refuse to accept this reality. I refuse to accept this reality.
You what?
Trump just said that he said he's going on Fox. I don't know if he's live or calling in.
He probably can't control himself. He's probably just going to call in. No, we should take that feed if we can. Are we allowed to simulcast Fox, or we just have to clip it? I don't know if we're able to simulcast that or not, but yeah, Trump is just probably get me on Fox, get me on Fox, get me on Fox. So, but like, I mean, just to show you the propaganda, I mean, again, that was objectively a bad speech. It was poorly delivered. It was not substantive. She was bouncing all over the place. Her hand motions. She was doing the John Kasich. Do you know the John Kasich where you're chopping lettuce? She was doing the John Kasich where she was chopping salami. And I mean, her hands kept on going outside of what we call the box in public speaking. In public speaking, less is more. And she kept on going up and going up and going around and going up. Anderson Cooper says, it would be interesting to play the two speeches back to back. It would be devastating, I think, to Milwaukee and Trump. Think back to how divisive and discordant the speech in Milwaukee was and how unifying this one was. It's striking. Oh, unifying. Really? Jack, what else are you seeing?
I mean, I keep thinking what's going to come next. So what's going to come next is you're going to just have the media for the next, 74 days, or it might be midnight here in the East Coast, so almost 73 days left, where the media is just going to continue to lie to us constantly about Kamala Harris. And by the way, Charlie, make no mistake, this is why you saw all the warmongers lined up tonight. This is why you saw everyone who's in the pocket of Big Pharma is at this convention. This is your moneyed elites are pouring everything they can into Kamala Harris. And Joe Biden, by the way, actually kind of let the cat out of the bag when he said something a couple of days ago, and producer Foz caught it, Angelo, and he said that, Biden said very quickly, he was asked sort of as he was going to and from the tarmac at one of these trips, that I think it was on his way out to California, actually, from Chicago. He said, well, we're really going to focus on the House and Senate races. I said, wait, what did you just say? He said, we really want to focus on the House and Senate races. Don't you mean the presidential race? You're very excited for Kamala Harris, right? No. So you're also going to see, I think, Charlie, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of this money starts flowing into the House and Senate races in these swing states and swing districts, as opposed to going to prop her up, because I think, look, they knew she was a dud all the way back in 2019. They know she's a dud now. They're just trying to salvage what they can in Congress. I think that's really what's going to go on.
I think we're being totally gaslit. Don't you, Blake? I mean, I'm reading what people are saying.
I do.
I watched this independently. Yeah, I mean, Blake, you're the most level-headed on this.
Yeah, like, okay, so I don't think she had a total disaster moment. Probably the closest is it did seem the crowd sounded a little weird when she got to the Israel-Gaza part. I think some people in the audience didn't like it. I even thought I heard a sound like it might have been a guy starting to heckle her, but I might just be way off on that one. So she didn't have she didn't freeze. She didn't have like a drunken meltdown. I think it would have been unreasonable to expect anything like that. But on the basics, the idea that this was a historic speech, or that she crushed it out of the park, I just don't see it. I don't see.
No, Blake, I know what you're trying to say. What you're trying to, and this is something that we talked about last night. The media set the bar too high. The expectations were so much higher than this. They were telling us that she was going to be a transformative candidate, all these references back to 2008. And so the bar was so much higher, as opposed to had the narrative going in, Kamalamentum, Camelot, all of these things, the sugar high, the honeymoon, as opposed to, this was a rushed thing. We're not, the way they should have played it was to say this was a rushed thing. Joe Biden had an issue at the debate. They're going to see what they can to bring it together. They're trying really hard, talk about how it was, they were planning things at the last minute, then, by the way, the scheduling issues and the bathroom issues, someone was saying that they couldn't go to the bathroom and come back with security, or the long lines getting into the DNC, that the huge semaphore piece up, by the way, I think it was Max Taney over there, and those guys were writing. So, and Ben Smith. So then you would have had an explanation for why things are not as polished as they should have been. But the problem was they set the bar higher than Mark Kelly on one of his exo-atmospheric flights, than Mark Kelly in orbit. So no, there was no way she was ever going to meet this. She didn't, and they're just lying to you and saying that she did.